What were you watching last night, Francis?
Red Dragon. Have you ever seen Red Dragon?
Is that with Ralph Fiennes in?
Yes. It's this prequel to Place Beyond the Pines. Not one. What's it called?
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs. Something of the something. But it feeds into it, doesn't it? And then at the end of the movie, no, spoilers, I can't say that. Are we live? Are we recording? Is that the intro?
We are, yeah.
We're just a movie podcast now.
I would love to be a movie podcast.
We could do a second one. We just immediately keep rolling after this.
I disagree, though, because pretty much any film that I want to watch, Emily's like, nah.
Yeah, Veto, that would be the whole podcast. No, we're not watching that one.
That'd be a good name for it. Veto.
Anything pre-2000.
Yeah. Red Dragon's 2002, though, so it's allowed in. I do think, though, that is the secret sauce. Sometimes, like, I don't know, industry people will ask us, oh, the podcast space is pretty full. What's so saturated? What do you think makes yours unique? And it's that it's not all cycling, surely. People are not one-dimensional.
I don't know if it's that as much as it is just vibes.
Oh, that's like your trigger word at the moment.
No, it has been for years.
Okay.
I'm sorry, so much of life can just be attributed to that. Why watch this one instead of this one? It's the vibes.
It's the vibes.
Can't be explained. Jimmy hates that. He's like, no, there must be a reason. It's like, nah, it's vibes. It's how do you know? I know a video is going to do well or not, just based on the feel.
What you are not identifying is that what you say is vibes actually is a thing, but you're unable to express it in words.
Je ne sais quoi.
Therefore, it is vibes until, it's I filmed a video last week and I had to use the words va-va-voom. So I hope you're proud, Jimmy.
I am actually, yeah. Well, I think your French heritage is probably prouder.
I put Thierry Henry in the video.
Ooh, Thierry Henry.
Thierry Henry. I hope he doesn't mind.
One of my nicknames in secondary school was Thierry Emily because I can do keepy-ups.
Can you?
Yeah, not loads.
Like 4.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
That is a bit harsh to you. Whenever there's a football around with zero practice, you can bang out like 10, 15, like first try.
Yeah, first try. I can do more than Jimmy, and that's
definitely
something.
It's not really, to be honest. I can't do many. I can get a good bit of spin on if you want to take penalties or if you want to take free kicks. I'm your boy. Keep ups. I'm not a showboater with my skills in life.
I'm 100% showboat.
Absolutely,
and nothing else.
That's exactly what you are. It's the difference between me and you. You're a showboater. I'm a performance first.
I'm like a goal hanger.
Unless it's yo-yos.
Oh, Jim, yeah.
I'm not a showboater. I'm still performance first.
You are not performance first.
Ex-champion.
That's what. Well, yeah, but you're showboating.
That's not showboating.
You literally, you. When I was staying at your house,
I was practicing.
You got a new yo-yo.
Yeah.
You did around the world and a bunch of stuff, and then you cracked a bottle of champagne and sprayed it all over the kitchen.
Yeah, but that wasn't because of the yo-yoing. That was just because, like, the vibes.
It was Tuesday. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Wild Ones podcast. This is the show where we chat about bike stuff. I am Jimmy and I am back with Francis CADE.
Hey.
And producer Emily.
Hello.
And thanks to Garmin for supporting this podcast to help us bring shows like this to you for free.
What have you guys been up to?
I feel like everything. I've been everywhere and nowhere all at the same time over the last week. It's been hectic. Me and Benny been making loads of videos. There's been loads of stuff going on behind the scenes. Loads of stuff going on in life as well. It's just been busy. It's just a very busy period.
Yeah, Benny's... Is it his second video?
From start to finish, his second video. I keep asking him for lots of little clips and things that slow him down because they're for my videos.
Yeah.
So I feel kind of bad. But it's a necessity. His second video went live.
Yeah, 10 insanely expensive bike things you don't need but want. Part 2. Part 2, because you did a part already.
Oh, like 2 years ago. Yeah, I didn't actually mention that in the title or anything.
Sorry, spoiler. Best comment on that video was, this video isn't for me, but I'll forward it to my dentist. I also noticed that the comments were absolutely full of European and US viewers basically stating how half the stuff we mentioned wasn't actually that expensive, and it must just be that it's expensive in the UK because of Brexit.
That's very sad, isn't
So
it?
we just shot ourselves in the foot there.
Oh, jeez.
Here are the consequences of our actions.
I guess, yeah. Where's Muck-Off? Muck-Off's English company.
Yeah.
Wolf Tooth, America. I wonder how cheap Wolf Tooth stuff actually is in America. I guess I'll go to the comment section to find out. We also had Canyon Bizarre Facts go live, which is one of my little video essays. There was loads of stuff I didn't know about Canyon. It was really fun researching it. The bit of hacker content at the end.
I noticed
that. Was good. I enjoyed that. That was my favourite bit.
You have a hacker friend?
Yeah, I've got a friend who's... well, he was like... I asked him what the situation was with Canyon because they were in the news for essentially a ransomware attack where hackers will gain access to a company's computer systems and then demand a ransom to unlock them and release them. And it's never been confirmed by Canyon that is what happened or if they paid anything. But he was like, I reckon that's what this is, and I reckon I even know who the people are who did it, because looking at the timelines, there was a Shimano had also been done by hackers, and he reckons it was the same people, and it's mega interesting. But because they're not as big of a company, they don't have to release as much information about it. But yeah, I've got a friend who used to run a big hacking conference, and he was like, oh yeah, give me a shout out in the video. And I was like, okay, cool. What shall I, like, what do you want me to link to? And he's like, oh, nothing. I want to remain secret. I'm like trying to work out how do I say thanks.
Thanks to no one.
But he's a very cool guy, and it's such an interesting perspective he has on things. Like, yeah. It was good.
It was actually one of my career aspirations to be a hacker.
An ethical hacker or just a naughty one?
A not ethical hacker.
A ransomware
Yes.
as a service hacker. Okay, cool, yeah.
And I learned very quickly I am just simply not intelligent enough to exist in that space. But I did used to hang around with my mate, Ian McGillivray, who now works for Google, who was like the genius. And he was like my way into... Ooh, this is an exciting world, isn't it? But yeah, sadly, not one I could venture into.
He joined the light side.
To some people, they will say that, and others will say the dark side.
Fine. What else happened?
Oh, the clocks changed, didn't they?
The clocks have changed, yes. Which means, does this happen elsewhere?
Definitely some places.
Yeah. Not at the same time though.
Yeah, so the clocks went back here, which means that we lose an hour of light in the evening. So sunset was 5:30, now 4:30. By December 21st, it will be 3:40. We'll also have a bit less light in the morning. However, right now, like usually this hits me like an absolute brick in the face and I spiral into an unmotivational slump. But I have figured out a hack. I don't know if I can call it hack because it's incredibly simple.
I would more likely call it a bodge, to be honest.
Okay, fine. Wrong show, Jimmy. My hack is I've been getting up at 7 o'clock, and then when the clocks went back on Sunday, I just decided to pretend it hadn't happened. So I set my alarm for 6 o'clock, and then I just go to bed an hour earlier. So I am still receiving the same amount of light as I did the day before. Does that make sense? Is it a hack, or am I being dumb?
No, it's not. You're not being dumb. It's you've just adjusted your sleeping pattern by an hour.
I am getting up at 6 a.m. for the first time in
ever.
I mean,
apart from for a flight,
maybe like a flight or when I was a baby, but
it's quite odd having you around for the morning. To be honest,
crazy.
That was always my time.
Quiet time. Or when I was staying at your house, me and Jimmy's time in the morning. We'd both sit on our little chairs with a coffee.
Yeah.
And then I used to come down at 8 a.m. like...
And your hair was all big.
But actually, Francis, I will attribute this new lifestyle, this new year, new me, to a piece of advice that you actually gave me when you were staying with us. You have made a whole business and a whole channel off of giving good advice, so maybe it shouldn't surprise me.
Oh, that was horrible. What a horrible link.
That's all right to say, isn't it?
Cringe. Yeah, it's great to say. It's just like, ugh.
Well, yeah, okay.
There is some questionable advice in there as well. Let's face it.
Also, I was just trying to be nice to the guy.
Yeah, I know, and it was a bit. Ugh.
Okay.
Just to bring him back down, Francis, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew, thank God.
If you hadn't realised by now, Jimmy and I are not very PDA people, but I am actually on my new year, new me. I'm also trying to practice gratitude and say nice things to people when I think them in my head. I'll say them as well.
What did you refer to yourselves as then?
PDA, public displays of affection.
Oh, okay, right.
Sorry, this is tangenting.
Pedia pip.
Yeah, so the piece of...
No, we haven't even gone on to the main, like, since the start. It can't even be called a tangent. We're just on a completely different road.
This is absolutely a fever dream. Have I been getting up at 6 a.m. and it's like thrown me into this like spiral of fever?
Yeah.
Emily's changed all the clocks in your house, so you don't even know what time you're waking up, Jimmy.
Right, Francis, the piece of advice that you gave me was...
Oh, yeah, let me know. What was it?
I can't remember exactly what you said, but it was something essentially like do the hard thing or embrace uncomfortable tasks. Do you remember what it was?
Oh, I take the... my brain wasn't doing the things I wanted it to do. So I looked at the internet for a very long time trying to figure out how to make things better, like a few years ago. And I think one of the things that really stuck, because there's a lot of nonsense, one of the things that worked for me, at least, and this is not advice for everybody, because there are going to be people who do too much stuff and burn out and need the opposite advice. For me, doing the path of most resistance in everyday life, and when there's a small task in front of you, for example, I don't want to take the bin out, but if I do it, like, you just do it straight away. Mm-hmm. And that trains your brain to then deal with bigger tasks better later on. It compounds. And it's lots of small decisions, but it makes a big difference in the end.
Yeah. And I would say when you were living with us, I noticed, I would say, a change in you. You were very considerate, not that you weren't considerate before, but you were extra considerate house guest. And I think it had a good influence on me. And I thought, I'm going to be more Francis as well. I'm going to do hard things too. And I think it's a good piece of advice for this time of the year when motivation can be lacking. I think you can apply it to lots of things. You can apply it to taking the bins out. You can apply it to exercise. I am now exercising more regularly. You can apply it to getting up earlier or studying or whatever it is. So yeah, I don't know. It had a profound impact on me, Francis. For now, anyway. I also get a bit of a dopamine hit off doing new stuff. So ask me in a month where we are.
Just keep doing new stuff then. Just keep adapting it.
Then it's 4 a.m. and then it's 3 a.m. and then we just don't go to sleep.
Well, Mr. Demotivator would say, do the hard things unless you don't want to. So that's my version of it. Yeah,
true. You can't ignore like pain or whatever, but I'm talking about, you know being in a real unmotivated slump and not being able to get out of it. The book Atomic Habits goes into this idea too, like the aggregation of marginal gains. I'm pretty sure Team Sky guy, what's his name?
Dave Brailsford.
Gets a shout out. Yes, Dave Brailsford. It's not about marginal gains in terms of performance, but it's about like, if you do a little bit today, then in a month's time, you've done, I don't know, maybe 20% of your goal or whatever it is.
This also absolutely falls into the space of the book Triggers. Because essentially what Francis is talking about is he's creating a trigger which says, there's something I don't want to do, but by doing it, it becomes a positive association rather than not doing it, and then it still has to be done.
Mm-hmm. And they get easier the more you do them.
Exactly. And
then it's like a thing that really does matter, where it's like, oh, I have this quite important piece of paperwork that I would have historically... It's that size of task where you have to sit down and think about it, and it seems like an obstacle and would get put off, and then it doesn't get put off because your brain goes, oh, it's just one of these. It's just like the doing the bin.
Yeah, exactly. Or, doing that turbo session you don't want to do, riding in slightly colder weather than you usually are comfortable with, etc., etc. That's how I'm linking it back to cycling, staying on track with the cycling podcast.
Newell of Knowledge is I was trying to figure out where what I was listening to when I started making these changes, and there's a guy called Newell of Knowledge. He seems like a very nice man. We should get him on the podcast. It's like a guy with a whiteboard, and he wears like a waist. He has different clothes. One of them's like he has two different types of video. One is mental health, and one is like social stuff. I think. And then he wears a different. The waistcoat videos are one, and then the blue shirt is another one. And it's good. You should definitely check him out.
Yeah, and also, last point on this, I was watching him thinking, like, what a positive male role model as well, because a lot of his videos are about how to talk to people, how to have more confidence, and I think that can take you down a silo of the internet, which is like I don't know, like these guys who put themselves up as like dating gurus, and it's all about negging women and stuff like that.
The word you're looking for, Emily, is manosphere.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not in there, but I don't get served that. But I think that he's offering the same kind of advice for people who are want to improve themselves, maybe want to improve their confidence, their charisma, their riz, whatever. But it's in like a really like nice, positive way. So good for him.
It's like it's like a Big Brother kind of vibe, isn't it?
Totally.
And it's really neat. It's like an antidote to the manosphere stuff and like the Andrew Tate stuff and all the horrible shit like that. So good on him.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I'm moving us on. Let's see what's making the headlines this week. Oh, it's over to you, Francis.
We talked about this last week a little bit. Our friend Harry McFarlane was out to try and defend his title as the British National Hill Climb champion, and he did it.
Woo!
Yay!
Woo! He did so well. It was an 800-meter climb with over 100 meters of elevation. It sounds very small, but it's a steep climb. Average gradient of 12.5%. Harry did it in 2 minutes, 14 seconds, which was 5 seconds faster than second place Kieran Winkatanak. Andrew Feather took third in the open category, half a second behind Kieran. Meanwhile, Rachel Galla took the women's top spot with a time of 2 minutes and 59 seconds. 2 seconds faster than the former national champ, Illy Gardner, who took second this year.
Junior winners Ruby Isaac and Harry Hudson as well.
Like the hill climb's a really interesting one because you see names and you see people that you wouldn't necessarily see racing. But I actually have some hope for the future of British cycling, not the organisation, but British people that ride bikes at a pro racy level. So Ruby Isaac won the juniors. She recently won the British National Road Race. And then Harry Hudson, who also won the National Hill Climb last year, has just won the Junior World Championship Road Race.
Wow.
So there is some really, really, really good hope for the future of British athletes. I did see someone in the comments, actually, on one of Harry's posts, complaining about the National Hill Climb being a climb that was only 800 metres. And one of the things I love about the National Hill Climb is how varied the climb is that it never suits one particular rider. So a couple of years back, it was the Tumble, which was, I think it was like a 10 to 12 minute climb. This one was a much shorter one. I think Harry said that next year's one is a 5% gradient.
Oh, interesting.
Quote Harry, which potentially puts it into TT bike space.
Oh.
So what I love about the National Hill Climb is that it's so varied that you can't have one person just constantly winning it. It gives other style of riders an opportunity to actually be competitive in it.
I try and avoid comment sections in general, but I looked at one of the posts. Someone posted, like online media, a picture of Harry, and the comments just melted my brain, and it just reminded me why I shouldn't look at them, because it's just a bunch of it's a perfect example of haters going to hate, isn't it? People moaning it, like accusing him of being on drugs. It can't be that fast. Pikachu would wipe the floor with him. It's just like loads of crap. It's a bunch of sad little pricks.
Here. Monument HQ on Instagram quoted his watts per kilo as 9.9. What?
This is a great example of the roundup. Why didn't he just round it up to 10?
Oh, one of the comments was his chainring wasn't round, so the power numbers will be affected, which I think is actually true. So I'm not sure if the power meter can be trusted, depending on where it was in the system. He had a weird chainring on his bike, didn't he? Like a hexagonal chainring.
No idea. Did you see that National Hill Climb legend Rapid Rich showed up in this year's fancy dress as the Ibiza final boss?
The hill climb final boss, he was called.
The hill climb final boss.
I like how we were laughing. So I was just going through Harry's Instagram stories, and then like they're in the pub at midnight after the race, and he's still dressed fully with the hair and everything as hill climb final boss.
Can we explain who Rapid Rich is for the listeners and viewers who don't know?
I don't totally know the best way to describe him. I think he is. I think the best way to describe him is someone that has been just so unbelievably linked to the British National Hill Climb for such a long time, and he's just like famous in the hill climb space, the British hill climb space.
Yeah.
He's like in the Tour de France. What's the guy that dresses up as
Diddy the
Devil?
He's like Diddy the Devil version of the British National Hill Climb. Rich always used to compete. I think he maybe doesn't compete anymore, and now he just really digs down on the fancy dress, and he puts a lot of effort into having new outfits every year.
Last year he had some spare legs, massive spare legs that he'd made. The year before he had a huge inhaler.
Yeah.
And he dressed as a doctor.
And he was dressed as a doctor. And this year he was the Ibiza final boss, aka the hill climb final boss. He's very fun. This is why, we're not the most into performance and competitiveness generally. However, I just think it's so alt and weird and quite accessible and a fun event that it just
class.
really like gets our attention, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. It ventures into that Belgium cyclocross space where you just have this huge turnout of people just absolutely going wild for a couple of hours. It's such a good vibe.
It's actually good for spectators, isn't it?
It is. Similar to last year, there's the media are always talking about the bike comparisons. The bike that won, we talked about Harry's bike last week. It was a 4.8 kilo Trekker bought second hand off eBay for a 483 quid, $644 ish. It was sanded down, custom graphics to, sort of make his video more interesting, which in the real world would cost money. I was trying to sort of tot it up. I don't know, maybe a couple of grand overall it cost him versus someone like Feather who is on an SWI, probably is some sort of sponsorship agreement.
I do think they call it SWI.
Rather. Their frame sets start from around 8,300 quid, $11,000. Last year's bike was worth 17,500. No disrespect to either of them. I think they're both fantastic. I think both of those bikes are probably really great for the job they do, but I think the sweet takeaway is that like the bike can only get you so far, and it's a sport where you don't have to have the most money to compete and win and do well. Mm-hmm. It's nice to have nice stuff, but it's not necessary, and it's nice that it's not like a discouragement from competing. Like you always see like young kids turning up there with their little AliExpress builds, and like they've done all of the weight weenie bits and stuff. It's just like,
I mean, Harry's bike was basically AliExpress.
Yeah, he loves a bit of that, doesn't he? Like he comes across as an underdog in some ways, or like an anti-hero. I don't know, but he's not an underdog. He's done incredibly well all season, as has someone like Andrew Feather. So I don't know. It's just nice. I just think that they're all great. Well done, everyone.
Yep. Well done, guys and girls.
And he's not on drugs. Well, performance enhancing ones.
Meanwhile, tyre company Vittoria says it believes naturally tanned tyres are the future. No, not just tan walls, fully tan tyres. In fact, their CEO told Cycling Weekly that in a few years, people will say, "You still ride black tyres? They're dirty and slow." So why are they saying this? Well, they're about to release a new range of tyres made of 92% renewable materials, such as natural rubber, oils, cotton, latex, as well as recycled nylon from old fishing nets. Gone too is the carbon black additive that gives tyres their traditional colour. So instead, these ones are a natural shade of brown all over. You might have seen these already because Tom Pidcock was riding a set at the Gravel World Champs last month. But one potential downside to them is that carbon black additive also adds durability, and the company admitted to Cycling Weekly that these natural ones do wear faster. But apparently they're also faster, lighter and more puncture resistant than Vittoria's gravel endurance range, so they think they'll make a good racing tyre. There's no official release date yet, but they're coming very soon, and somewhere around $100 or 75 quid-ish. I'm assuming that's per tyre. I don't know. What do we think of the aesthetic of them?
Well, you'd have to clean them if you ride gravel. Perfect.
I'm quite into different coloured tyres at the minute. There's the, what's the name of the, Ultra Dynamico. I think they're Japanese, maybe they're Japanese tyres, possibly made by Panaracer, maybe, but the brand is like super cool. They're doing some really, really cool colours and tread patterns, and I absolutely love them. One of our mates, Lucas, rides them, and they just look class. So I do like doing things a bit differently. Obviously, them wearing out less is bad, but maybe they are overall better for the environment. Who knows? It's definitely something to consider, because obviously a lot of stuff on bikes does wear out. So where does that end up? Francis?
Yeah.
Didn't we weigh some tyres ages ago and the amber wall version of the same tyre was lighter?
Yeah. Just because of the sidewall, but potentially not as good punch protection because of that.
Well, I guess it is this thing then. So I guess what an amber wall actually is just that it has less. It doesn't have the black additive that they're talking about here.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not sure if that's completely true with this one, because they were saying these are actually more puncture resistant and it's down to the cotton. So I don't know whether the cotton is like a different additive to counteract the less durability from. I don't know the complete composition makeup of these ones versus their traditional ones. I quite like them.
79% of tyres, like car tyres, are repurposed. So it's like children's playgrounds and asphalt and bits of stuff like that.
Are they?
That's bonkers. I thought it was like in Springfield where they just put them on a big pile and set fire to them.
Well, I think once upon a time it was like that, but then it got much more regulated. So like in this country, if you can't just bin a tyre. If you are a car tyre company, you legally have to safely dispose of your tyres. So I guess additional legislation is probably what stops things like that happening, but definitely in the past that did used to happen.
I like the look of these. The skeptic in me thinks, well, they look great on paper. They say that they're produced in a carbon neutral facility, so it's reduced the carbon footprint by 47% compared to gravel tyres made with standard materials and processes. But then they're perishing quicker. I think as a consumer, it's really difficult to know now whether we're just being like greenwashed or not. But I just don't know. It's hard, isn't it? I guess I'm skeptically optimistic. Something tells me that people will continue to buy the black ones
because they look good.
Well, I think these other ones look good, but I don't know whether they're changing the status quo about that.
I'm all for them.
Are they more expensive than normal ones?
Everything's moving to that price point now. All premium tires are around that sort of space now, as wild as that is. But I think most people will find that basically no one buys tyres at RRP. They go online and you find them for significantly less. But that seems to be the RRP that lots of stuff is coming in at the minute.
Well, moving on, but still on the subject of wheels, a US company that makes high-end wheel sets for the likes of Chris King, Revel and Bontrager has unexpectedly closed, and it's having quite a knock-on effect for those brands. So the company's called CSS Composites. Many of the wheel sets they made for brands were sold with lifetime warranties and very generous replacement schemes. But apparently they sent a letter out to businesses last month saying they were going into liquidation and were abruptly stopping all manufacturing, customer service and their replacement and repair services. So Chris King has subsequently announced it's discontinuing its Fusion fibre wheel sets for the foreseeable, but they have reassured customers that the lifetime warranties will still be valid. The Fusion fibre was a thermoplastic carbon rim technology designed as a recyclable alternative to traditional thermoset carbon. Chris King said in a statement that CSS was a company that shared their ideals for sustainable manufacturing and that they are heartbroken for the people who lost their jobs and the vision that now won't be realised. They added, "We never like seeing US manufacturers closing their doors."
That is very good of Chris King, because presumably in this scenario they would... I guess it depends who the lifetime warranty is with. Ultimately, I'm assuming Chris King would pass that warranty on to the manufacturer. And if they don't exist, I'm assuming Chris King could probably get away with not maintaining that lifetime warranty. So it is very good of them to say, well, don't worry, guys, if you've bought these wheels, we're still going to honour it.
Or replace it with something. Maybe not the same thing, though.
Who knows?
If they don't have the means to make it anymore.
But I'm sure those rims or equivalent rims are available, but perhaps are not as accessible to them.
Somewhere else, of course. Yeah. Next, we got some updates on 2 legal disputes from the past couple of weeks, both of which have now been resolved. First, Strava has dropped its lawsuit against Garmin. They originally kicked off 3 weeks ago over an alleged patent infringement. Patent? How do you say that word? People were confused. Their chief product officer then went on Reddit to set the record straight, which didn't go well. People were even more confused, and now they've let the whole thing go.
Yeah, I am still confused.
Secondly, a French ultracyclist, Sofiane has been freed from prison in Russia after illegally crossing the border during a world record attempt. We spoke about this recently. He was attempting to become the fastest cyclist to cross Eurasia by bike and was just 400 kilometers away from finishing when he was arrested by border guards. He spent 50 days in jail before he was finally released with a fine and sent home to France. He told AFP that he tried to cross the border legally, but found out he'd have to wait until the following day, which would have ruined his chances of beating the record. So he tried to go through illegally. In hindsight, he admits this plan was not smart. But Saheli said he was well treated in the Russian prison and he received legal and medical help throughout. He explained it's not a place where they pick you up and throw you in jail and you've got no idea of what's happening.
That's a positive bit of PR for Russia. No, I know it must have been terrifying though, mustn't it?
That must have been so scary, but really good that he's back.
No, I agree. It was clearly a very worrying time for his family, his partner, him as well. I am very pleased that it's all worked out all right for him.
Most of you have heard the good news yesterday that I was released from custody after 50 days spent in detention in Russia. I have another good news to share with you today. It is that I was allowed to leave the Russian Federation territory immediately upon my release. And so this morning I hopped on a plane in Vladivostok that took me to Thailand, where I am right now. And from Thailand, I will be going on, and the rest of my journey will be taking me home to France, where I will be arriving this weekend or early next week. I will, at some point in the future, talk more about what happened during this 50 days, and I will also explain the reasons that pushed me to act in such a foolish way. But now is not the time. Now is the time to rejoice, to be happy, to be relieved. That's this pretty dark chapter of my life is finally over, and that I will soon be among my loved ones, with my family, and also that I will soon be riding bikes again, because spending 2 months without riding bikes is way too long. But yeah, it's over now.
Super interesting guy. He's got a YouTube channel as well.
Now, shall we move on to Fluff Up of the Week?
Friend of the show, Nick, the bike mechanic from Backyard Bike Shop, wrote off his very nice Bataille. How do you pronounce the name of the bike, Jimmy?
I still don't know. I've tried to get him to explain it to me. It's like
Officina
Bataille. It's something like that.
Let's go with that. It's a really nice gravel bike. He put it on the roof of his car and then he went to a KFC drive-thru, which is a very Nick thing to do, to be fair.
He absolutely loves... What I've come to realize is he's like one of those coupon people. They've made films about coupon people.
Coupon moms.
Coupon moms. He's that with apps and points. And anywhere he can collect points and get a bargain, he goes for. So when we went down to the awards show the other week, we stopped in a service station. I think I got a fillet of fish and a Coca-Cola, and we got some bits and pieces. And he was just like, "Oh, can I get your tokens? Can I scan them into my app?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course you can." And he's like going like, "Oh yeah, well if I get 2 more, then I get myself a free cheeseburger."
He has probably the value of this bike in McDonald's points.
Definitely.
So at least he he's lost his bike, but he can eat for free at McDonald's for the rest of his life. So he had the bike on top of his car on a roof rack, going through the KFC drive-thru, didn't follow the mantra.
The world famous protocol.
The song.
Bike on the roof, bike on the roof, bike on the roof, bike on the roof. And so, yeah, it got smashed up the bike, smashed up the bike rack, smashed the back window of his car also. It was straight after the awards as well. He got home and then got this picture. So a real set of highs and lows for Nick. But I double check with him. I said, is it okay if we talk about your
Mishap.
your fluff up this week? And he said yes. So R.I.P. Nick's bike.
We've all done it. I could get into the points thing. I got the Greg's app recently, and I often steal Jimmy's points as well because he doesn't like using the app. So we go to Greg's and I beep it for mine, and then Jimmy's goes through, I beep it for his, and I get loads of free sandwiches and stuff. Well, at some point I'm going to cash in and get like 20 sandwiches all in one go.
Nice.
So it turns out you're a voucher mom as well.
Well, I actually just got not a advert for Greg's, but I actually also got the Greg's app, and I got a free donut this morning with my egg omelette because it was my birthday, and in your birthday month you get a free sweet treat.
With your egg omelette.
With my egg
as opposed to your non-egg
Yes.
omelette. Could you make an omelette out of like tofu?
Yeah, I'm sure. Today's episode of the Wild Ones podcast is supported by Garmin.
I've actually been using Garmin bike computers and watches for well over a decade now.
Yeah, me too.
I actually bought my first one in 2012. It was the Forerunner 410, and I was training for my very first triathlon at the time.
And how did that go, Jimmy?
Well, it would have gone great if I hadn't accidentally miscounted my bike laps and got myself DQ'd for doing one short.
Rookie error. You should have used the laps function.
I know. But my point is, Garmin's have been part of our lives for a long time now. So it was a bit of a full circle moment when they came on board to support the channel.
And they don't just make watches and head units with bike-specific GPS mapping and performance monitoring.
Nope. They also make power meters, heart rate monitors, smart bike lights that capture video and alert you when cars are approaching, tax indoor trainers, and so much more.
So thank you to Garmin for supporting this podcast. Time for some unpopular opinions. We will read out some cycling hot takes, debate them, and decide if we agree or disagree. Now, the first one is from Ridwan, who says, my unpopular opinion is you only need to have a good, reliable chain set / group set to have a good, comfortable bike. Nothing else about the bike matters.
Some of that I agree with.
Depends what type of bike you got. What if you got a downhill? What if you only ride downhill mountain bike and you live in Morzine? In which case, those parts of the bike are optional.
I do agree that a good group set
is nice.
And when I say good, that doesn't mean high end, but a good shifting group set makes a bike feel great. It definitely doesn't make it feel more comfortable though. Well, maybe the shifters, but like an uncomfortable bike is an uncomfortable bike. But a bike that shifts well and brakes well ticks most of the boxes.
Nothing else about the bike matters is hyperbolic.
It has to look. The number one thing that's important is you need to look at it and go, that is sick.
Obviously.
Comfortable is an odd choice of word. Like a group set's not making you that comfortable. Like good tires and stuff like that.
Makes much more difference. Yeah, comfort's not the right word.
So yeah, unpopular opinion there, I think. Next one. James says, I was just folding laundry and thinking, if we sit on a saddle, why don't we call a seat post a saddle post? We say things like saddlebag, saddle position, but also seat post, seat clamp, seat rails. which are all attached to the saddle. And it got me thinking of other stupid words in cycling. Gilet, bidon, clipless, chainring. Why don't we just call this a gear or a cog or a sprocket?
Yes, 100%. And we should start changing the words. I think we, as a community, we maybe have some power. So let's start. Starting with chair.
Chair post.
So your suggestion is that we get rid of saddle and seat. There's too much bad PR around both of them. Scrap them both. Call it all a chair. Where's the chair?
Yeah, they're gone. So the guys, do you remember the guys from the clothing brand in our old building came, put together a bike, and he was like putting it together, and he was like, "Where's the chair?"
Where's the chair? There we go. Thank you.
Sorry, what do you call it?
The chair. You're selling it, innit?
Good point. It should be called a chair. Where is the chair?
And that is something that we now say to each other constantly, isn't it? Where's a chair?
It's a surprising amount of times in my life I lost the chair. And it reminds me of that very funny, good moment. And honestly, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
It's a chair. It's a f***ing chair.
Yeah, cycling, especially like sort of performance-oriented cycling, drop bar cycling, whatever, just is quite niche. And I do think that odd words do contribute to that. Saddle is already very much taken up by the equestrian community. I think we could rebrand to chair
To be honest, though,
to be more welcoming and put the barriers down a bit.
the one that is like properly straight up absurd is clipless.
Yeah, we have talked about this before, haven't we?
It's bonkers.
There's one I want to change, which doesn't, it's going to take some convincing to get this one done. But instead of being dropped, being forsaken.
No, that one works.
Left behind.
Yeah.
You told me that the other day. That's what forsaken means.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know what forsaken meant for too long in my life, and now I do. I have now. If Nick Vieri rides me off, well, no, that's not going to happen, is it? If James Jobber rides me off his wheel, I have been forsaken.
Why have you forsaken
me? And I've always wanted to say that, so we're changing that as well.
Approved. I hate bonked.
Sounds naughty.
Yeah, it does sound naughty, doesn't it?
Well, there are other versions though.
Hunger knock is better.
My friend Ananda came up with a great term: tube width.
For what?
When it's not tubeless, the opposite of tubeless.
Oh, tubed. Tube width.
Tube width.
Okay.
So someone in marketing can have that one for free.
A tubeful. Tubeless, tubeful.
Tube width.
Gilet and bidon, to their credit, they are just French.
Just a bottle.
And the French did kind of invent cycling, did they not?
No, I think the British did.
I think it's an English thing. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
British thing.
But I mean, like, it's very much part of their heritage. A gilet, in the UK, we do use the word gilet. I'm going to put my gilet on.
Yeah, but that's because it drops down from like high fashion back in the day.
Yeah, whereas I think, is it right, Americans say vest?
Vest. But then they say fillet. Fillet of fish, Jimmy. Go next time you're in Mackey's, order a fillet of fish. See what happens.
Fish fillet. That's what it is.
Fish fillet.
Yeah, whereas we say fillet of fish.
Philly.
It's like pan au chocolat. I was listening to, someone sent me another podcast clip, and it was a Geordie guy, and they were saying that they were in Greg's and they didn't want to ask for a pan au chocolat, so they called it a chocolate pasty.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I don't want to say that the gilet or the bidon are stupid, because it's just another language, and all language does evolve from other languages. That's just etymology.
Do you have an unpopular opinion? Well, we want to hear it. Send it to wildonespodcast@cademedia.co.uk and you might feature on a future episode.
And as always, you can send us your questions and comments for listeners' takeover, like this one from Carl, who says, in summary, because it was quite a long email, he has been a powerlifter and a runner for a long time, and he's recently got into cycling because, quote, he's at a certain age, 48, where his body gives up more frequently and for more ridiculous reasons. I was literally saying this before we started recording. I've done my knee in from trying to kick a ball for Bella, and I sort of drop it onto my foot and usually kick it, but I missed it and I just swung really hard into nothing. My keepy up days are behind me.
I was
think.
just about to say, well, you like secret keepy uppy training.
Thierry Emily is on the bench. Anyway, so Carl says that he wants to get a gravel bike. He loves watching us and others for information on bike tech, but he says, I feel so much more confused with regards to how to part with my cash. Carbon bike, aluminium bike, SRAM or Shimano, 40mm, 45mm, 50mm tyres, 1x10, 11, 12 speed. Do I go for a Cube New Road or a Canyon Grizzle? Or is it a Cannondale Topstone Carbon or a Specialized Diverge or a Trek Checkpoint or a Scott Addict Gravel? His list goes on. And then he says, there seems to be small differences and I can't test ride every bike I'm interested in. So how do I make a decision between the bikes I'm looking at? Thanks, Carl.
My first thought is you're not really going to go wrong, and you have to ride stuff to know what you like. So the first thing I personally think people should do is discount bikes they can't test ride, because you really need to ride it to go, do you know what, I don't like the fact that it's 1x, or I don't like the fact it's 2x, or I don't like the gear range that this bike comes with, or the handlebars are too wide, or this is that, or this is this. And you're only going to know that from riding it. So if you're going to part with a lot of money, try it first. If it's a new thing, if you haven't built that experience to know what group set you want and what gear ratios you want and what tires you're going to need for the riding that you're going to do, test ride more bikes, ride stuff.
I mean, we have given that advice before, and I'm guessing this email came off the back of that, and he has literally said, I can't test ride every bike I'm interested in. You're saying just get rid of it.
Well, yeah, I would discount those ones.
What if you live somewhere where you can't test ride any of the ones that you want?
I would do my best to find a well-reviewed, a good reputation bike shop and rely on their expertise to help me through the conundrum.
Which, again, everyone doesn't have access to.
Then the final scenario is...
Just pick one. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Magic 8 Ball. Tarot card.
Well, you will do what probably all of us presenting this podcast have done, apart from Emily, because she just deals with stuff. Although that is not true. 2 bikes are about to get sold. You end up buying something that is not fit for purpose and you waste money.
I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a bit of hyperbole. I just think maybe the perfect unicorn bike doesn't exist, or maybe it's that what is the right bike for you when you're first getting into cycling versus what's the right bike for you 5 years down the line, and then what's the right bike for you 20 years down the line. Maybe that's just a different thing. People's...
It is.
Even a year in. It changes, the curve of when you take up a new hobby or a new interest, you learn stuff so quick. Mm-hmm. And that after 6 months, you probably oh, okay, I understand all of these weird terms and what half of this means now. And then you have a much more educated decision. To
a degree, you can just kind of choose a bike and then learn along the way kind of thing. It feels like the same decision as well, do I get an iPhone 17 or a Google Pixel or a Samsung Galaxy what's it? Or is it Apple or Android, or 13-inch, 14-inch, 15-inch display on my laptop, or what colour do I paint my walls? At some point you just have to kind of make a decision, do your research, but if it's overwhelming you, just kind of, because a lot of stuff is preference. You guys will say stuff, and I don't think you are presenting it as fact, but maybe if you are a newbie here, it comes across this is good and this is bad. That's just kind of your opinions. A lot of stuff is subjective. There is stuff that's actually bad.
Well, not that much. We're at a point now where it really has, 10 years ago, you could definitely buy an entry-level bike and it would be kind of crap.
Yeah.
Now, I think you'd struggle to find... Unless you're going to Walmart, or do you remember we bought a bike from Walmart and it was just absolute crap, or the Argos one, not that good. But as soon as you go to big brands, the ones, everything named here, you're not going to go too wrong.
Yeah.
And buy the one that looks the best.
Yeah, as long as you're sort of picking the right size, then if you're blessed to be in a size range where you're catered for as well, then... I kind of think the world's your lobster. Just get a bike and ride it.
Next up, Dries says, I started cycling last year and it's been one of the best choices ever. But as someone who is a beginner, I have a question around riding etiquette, and it has to do with sitting on strangers' wheels. I'm from Flanders, so on popular cycling routes, you come across loads of riders, and sometimes when I find someone going at a good speed, I put myself in their wheel. Now, I don't know if that's something you're really allowed to do. It's happened to me, and actually I appreciate it, as I feel a certain trust from a fellow cyclist, but I've also heard people who find it really annoying and impolite. That I understand, but if you come across someone cycling at a good tempo, you can either get in their wheel or ride at an awkward 10-20 meters behind them. So I figure, might as well get the draft. What are your thoughts? Is there some sort of rule should you ask permission or offer a turn on the front afterwards?
For me, it's easy. Just let them know you're there and ask if they mind. And most people are going, no, fine.
He's got a very good point. It's you either have that awkward. Cyclists are very sticky because of drafting. You end up sticking to other riders and then ending up riding in groups if you're on the same stretch of road, or you do this awkward thing where you're either a bit behind or you overtake and you're not going that much faster. So they end up in your draft and then you end up stuck together anyway. I think 99% of the time, if you a little hello, I'm not some weirdo, just let you know I'm here, how's it going, is enough for most people to be like, that's cool. And very few people are going to have a problem with that. What's your opinion on this, Emily?
Do you know what? I don't think anyone has ever said to me, oh, hi, we're going at the same pace. Do you mind if I just sit behind you? They always just go, nyong, past. So
something I think I will add to this is if the person is female and you are male, don't sit on their wheel and do not talk to them because there's already enough barriers for women going out there riding bikes, feeling safe, etc., etc., etc. Don't make it awkward for them.
It is a hard one because the person would likely be a guy, and all of a sudden it's like, is this guy following me or not? So that is a hard thing. And I have had an experience where someone has been following me also. So
sorry.
He still is.
I think you just have to ask.
I know what Francis would do. If someone said to him, can I sit on? He'd say, yeah, no bother. And then he would just start really slowly ramping it up.
Winding it up. Yeah, just not noticeably. Yeah, it's called secret smash. So don't change your body position. Don't even open your mouth.
Yeah.
Just slowly speed up. Ideally with your hands on the tops.
Yeah. And then you would do your famous thing, which is let out a few guffs as well.
I did. That's not my famous thing. It might become my thing, though.
It definitely should. It definitely should.
Can I point out there's nuance here? If it was, as you say, solo rider is a very different situation to what if there's a group. Me and a friend were riding and we were on a dangerous road the other day, a fast road full of cars. And then we came up to a group ride that was going and we kind of just said hello. And then they were pointing out the potholes for us. So that's immediate acceptance that, there's some guys behind us. We'll make sure. And it's, when it's a group, it's a different thing entirely. So it depends on the situation. It's the vibes, Jimmy. Sorry, guys. It's always the vibes.
Yeah, I think there probably isn't one rule. I feel like some people will be very much one way and some people will be very much the other way.
So, some people hate waving. I've seen people, I'll always kind of wave and say hello, but I would never also, on the flip side, never get annoyed if someone didn't wave back at me. And I see that's a complaint. These cyclists don't wave it anymore. And it used to be respect and blah, blah, blah. So, well...
There's a million reasons why they might not.
Yeah. Most of, I try to always, I do that whenever I see a cyclist. Some roads, that is easier than others. Like if you're riding down through Isha or something, it would just be too much. But in a lot of situations, I'm just thinking about things and tunnel vision and I won't wave.
Yeah.
And I don't want to seem rude to people. And I think that upsets some people. They'll be like, that guy didn't wave at me. So you can't win.
I'm very conscious.
Go on, do it. Do it.
No.
I feel like I'm about to get burned.
No, it isn't you. I was just trying to think of a way to say it. What I was going to say is sometimes we get recognised and then my brain went, don't say that because it sounds like you think you're bigger than you are. Very, very, very occasionally, usually in the context of sport, sometimes people know who we are and then they come up and say hello, which is always really nice. Someone recognised us on our run the other day and they'd stopped. They had a very, very small baby and my brain was going, small baby. And he stopped. That's nice. And thank you. And then they went, I watch your podcast. And then I froze and didn't know what to say. So didn't say anything. And Jimmy had to do all the talking and we were also running. I was like, do I stop? Do I not? And then I didn't say anything. And I thought about that interaction for at least an hour afterwards. And I thought, God, that guy probably thinks I'm a prick because it basically didn't say anything. But it's just the mind was not working because the heart rate was working overtime.
It's funny because at the time you were like, that guy's a prick. Why is he getting in the way of my run?
No, I didn't.
Why has he got a pram in front of me?
No.
I've got intervals to hit.
No, I didn't. No, but sorry, the point of that story was that it's the same reason of like, some person could go, oh, that Emily, she's a real prick in real life, or that person who didn't wave at me, they're a real prick. But just, sometimes you're doing a brain fart in your own head and you just miss it.
100%.
And also shout out to that guy. And he's do you know what? He's probably up. He's probably listening to this at like 3 a.m. or something like that with his tiny, tiny baby. So shout out to you in the trenches, the New Bowden trenches.
And he's probably thinking, oh, that Emily was really nice when I met her.
Probably, yeah, hopefully, yeah.
I've had a 100% success rate of people I've met who are audience members have been the nicest people ever.
Yes, very nice.
So
Yeah.
Thanks for saying hello when you have said hello. The scary bit is how many people see you but don't say hello. You always have to be representing yourself.
I think that sometimes in Tesco when like my hair's like a bird's nest and I've, not at my best, which is fine. We're all just people, but sometimes I'm really not at my best.
Just whatever state your hair is in, you are still at your best.
Thank you. Thanks.
Because your hair doesn't make you better or worse.
Okay. I'll take it. Thanks.
Don't shave it off though.
Okay. I think we've rambled enough. Shall we wrap it up?
That's all for this week. Thank you very much for listening. Make sure you are like this and subscribe and all of the other good things. Get in the comments, all of that kind of stuff. And I guess this has been a waffle pod today, isn't it?
It has been a waffle pod, particularly.
I've enjoyed it. I've
enjoyed it as well.
All right.
That's what counts.
Okay.
Peace.
Goodbye.
Wait.
Goodbye.
Words.